Hey guys, it is the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you a pretty cool video. I'm just reacting to this top 10 most underrated roller coasters in the US, last updated on October 18th of 2017. Never seen this article before, but this is basically like an underrated roller coasters list here, and I'm just going to react to it and explain my thoughts on this video. So, yeah. The number 10 most underrated roller coaster is Swamp Fox. So this is at Family Kingdom in Myrtle Beach. So this is a 75-foot ride, 50 miles per hour. But it is at a very, very small park, so I'm guessing that it's super underrated because there's not too many people that really get to ride it. I don't really know if it's a good ride. But it is a classic Woody. It says it has some pretty solid moments with some pretty good airtime. But overall, I could see why this coaster is underrated, but it could be rough, it could be smooth, I'm not really sure. It doesn't really say the smoothness on here in this article, but I could see why this coaster is underrated because very few people will go to this amusement park in Myrtle Beach. Next, we have Excalibur at Fun Town, USA. So this is a underrated CCI Woody. 55 mile per hour speed, 82-foot drop is what it says. There's solid airtime, and there's a figure eight element on this ride. CCIs are pretty good. Shivering Timbers is a very good ride. Raven and Boulder Dash are very awesome as well. It looks like this is a pretty underrated coaster. I have to agree with this, being very underrated. A lot of Woodies are really underrated. And we have the Comet, and actually quite a few people talk about this ride. I don't think it's the most underrated ride. I feel like it could have been a bit lower, but it is pretty underrated. It's a classic ride. It has some pretty good airtime for a Woody, and it's overall a pretty solid ride. It is definitely an underrated ride at Hershey Park when there's other rides there, like Sky Rush dominating the whole Midway, but Comet's definitely no slouches. It's pretty solid. Let's see, we have Wooden Warrior, and this is at Quasi Amusement Park. This is a pretty underrated amusement park. And it says this is a really smooth ride here. I'm not really sure. I believe this might be a Gravity Group Woody. Just looking at the trains, it looks like a Gravity Group wooden coaster. It looks pretty underrated as it is at Quasi Amusement Park in Connecticut. So I believe it will be it is pretty underrated, so I could see why it's on the list. Next we have Powder Keg, and this is a coaster at Silver Dollar City. Everyone knows about Outlaw Run and Time Traveler as the 2-star attractions, and those are the most loved and favorites for the roller coaster enthusiasts. Powder Keg is definitely an underrated coaster as it has a pretty cool launch. It says here 0 to 53 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds. This is a very fun ride. Overall, really cool. I believe this coaster was built by Premier Rides, even though the trains say S&S. But Powder Keg, pretty cool ride. Definitely an underrated launch coaster and not really talked about. Kind of like Wildfire, which is a B&M sit-down coaster there, which is very, very underrated as well. Let's see, number 5 most underrated, the Racer at Kings Island. It says here the Beast is disappointing. I don't agree with that, but I feel like the Beast is definitely the best wooden coaster at Kings Island. Racer, in my opinion, I don't know. I just don't like it. It was really rough when I rode it, and there was no race going on either, so that was a really bad ride experience. I need to try and re-ride this coaster. Maybe I might like it again. Because in 2016, when I went to Kings Island, I liked Racer. 2017, I dislike it. Maybe in 2018, I might think it's okay. it's pretty inconsistent, I guess. And it delivers airtime. Yeah, I feel like this coaster is kind of overrated, not underrated. The Beast has kind of gotten underrated, in my opinion. Let's see, Gemini. This coaster is underrated, in my opinion. This is a very fun ride. It has a space theme and a pretty cool retro style name. Definitely a fun ride. I love riding Gemini, but when this coaster is racing, this is a very cool experience and a very fun ride. But when you aren't racing on Gemini, this coaster is kind of basically a family coaster. But when you're racing, this coaster is super fun, and the trash talking is amazing. And it is fairly smooth for its age as well. Let's see, we have Scream at Six Flags Magic Mountain in number 3. I have to agree with this. Scream is super underrated when it comes to floorless coasters. You have Superman Krypton Coaster, Rougarou, and there's like a bunch of other floorless coasters that are known for being very good. And everyone forgets about Scream. And it's a very fun ride. Scream overall, very cool coaster. A lot of inversions. It's definitely a very cool ride and super underrated with its collection. With Magic Mountain's coasters, Scream is super underrated. Let's see, number 2, we have Wild One at Six Flags America. So this coaster is actually pretty good. I've heard that this coaster is really old and it was relocated. And yeah, the Wild One at Six Flags America, I've heard that it has pretty solid airtime. But overall, Wild One, it's definitely a classic wooden coaster. And I've heard it's pretty good too. But a few people actually talk about it. I know quite a few people that go to Six Flags America will talk about Wild One being pretty good, but I will definitely want to experience it for myself. And then, yeah, we have the Comet. Super underrated ride. This is another classic wooden coaster. Lots of Woodies are underrated, in my opinion. It's pretty insane how many underrated Woodies are there. And overall, the Comet, definitely a really cool ride. It has some pretty awesome airtime. And overall, it's a very fun ride. Super fun. Very classic ride. Definitely want to try out this coaster eventually. Sometime in the future. But overall, the Comet looks like a very fun ride. And that's all for this video. Do you guys want me to do any more of these article reaction style videos and share my thoughts on them? Or do you want me to do some different videos? Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more videos. Bye-bye.